struggling to get your personal or professional life together? Does it sometimes feel like you're floating by without direction? You're not alone. There's a lot to juggle, and it can be overwhelming sometimes. But don't worry. Life Coaching Today can help you get clarity and develop a plan to start living the life you want. At Life Coaching Today, we have made it our mission to help you change your life. With our free 30-minute discovery call, one of our certified and experienced coaches will help figure out what is holding you back and work with you to create a plan to transform your life. And once you book a coaching call with us, you'll receive a gift basket worth $500 to help support you on your journey of change. Take back control of your life. Book a free 30-minute discovery call with one of our coaches today.
Hey everyone, good morning, good morning. I am not as hippity hoppity boppity excited this morning, but I am going to get there. I've got the coffee. Grab your coffee. See the lipstick stain. Grab your coffee, grab your tea, grab your smoothie. I know y'all out here getting dressed. Some of y'all are rolling out of bed. The kids are running around. It's Thursday. We made it to Thursday. I know I'm not the only one that's like, oh my gosh, I made it to Thursday. I think I lost 2 days this week. But I am excited. I am excited about life, being happy, healthy, whole. I am Kadada as Mayor Gray, just because I need to tell you all that. And I almost forgot to introduce myself this morning. So good morning, good morning, good morning. What a time it has been since we last chatted. In Thursday to Thursday seems like forever and ever. So I'm not going to do what is on Kadada's bookshelf, all my fun things, because I want to talk a little bit about creativity today. So, but and what creativity looks like, what it feels like, and are you being creative, right? Because we need a little creativity in our lives. Excuse me. You hear my voice is like a little foggy this morning, but it's all right. We're going to survive it today. So first and foremost, new do today, I had to remove the hair, did all of that. So we're in 2 braids because I'm in a hair crisis, y'all. In a hair crisis. I literally sat for 9.5 hours to get my hair removed. Because for all y'all that don't know and understand, little black girl hair is a journey. And this is what it came out with, right? So I don't know what the next hairstyle is going to be. The holidays are coming. I need like my holiday hair. And I know all y'all sister girls out there know about that. So if anyone has any suggestions, hit me up. Say, Kadada, go get some. Because I'm actually thinking about cutting it off again, too. And fading it because I'm not attached to my hair. But that's just me. That's just me. So we have the hair crisis of 2023. That's the first thing. And I keep getting sick. I think we talked about that last week and I'm sure everyone in Georgia is getting sick on and off because we are going from summer to fall to winter all in the same day. So everyone take your elderberry, ginger, turmeric. I think those are like the top 3 things. If you're taking something else, let me know because I need to take it all to survive this weather. Loving it, loving it, loving it. I intentionally did not watch the news for like a week. You know why? Because I needed a break, a whole break. Tis the holiday season, but this holiday season does not seem joyous, happy, because of what's going on in the world. That's just me. And it has been a whole mood. I think the weight of war, just the heaviness in the air. I don't even have to watch it on the news, but just the heaviness of war and the activities that are occurring in the air. I swear it feels like it's in the clouds and it's just silently raining upon us, because we've got protests around the country, even at happy events, joyous events, fun events. There's protest, and I understand why people are protesting, but it's really permeating everything that we are doing. And frankly, it's exhausting. So I have not watched the news. I've seen some little clips. I'm one of those news break people that I'm just like, oh, let me see this clip. Let me see this. Let me read this quickly and kind of move on. And I just need to tell y'all, like, we need each other. And I know that a lot of people feel like they can't trust other people. And I understand why that is. It is a challenge to open yourself up and be vulnerable to others, right? Because building relationships is really hard. It's like a dance. Someone's got to take a step. You got to take a step. Sometimes you twirl. Sometimes someone else twirls you, and that twirl can be positive and negative, right? And so that feeling of building relationship, though, is something that we need to craft and cultivate. Last week I talked about the book Never Eat Alone by Keith Ferrazzi on my show, because talking about the importance of building relationship and having a network. I bring this all up to say because, it broke my heart. I think it was in New York where there was a TV anchor. She went missing, find out, and the news report came out that initially that she was hit by a train. And I'm pausing for a second because my mind is going, we need people. We need to be able to talk to others. We need to be able to share our stories without judgment. We need to be able to share our pain without feeling ashamed, because I promise you, we all bleed red and we all have the same struggles. The struggle might be different today, but someone else has had that struggle, and we need to know about those struggles so we can normalize not only sharing, but also the idea of what I am feeling is normal. And back to this sister girl, she committed suicide. She jumped in front of in front of a train just days after having an awesome family dinner. Those photos were printed in the New York Post today, and it's just heartbreaking. I don't know her personal struggles, but what I do know is that when you have a conflict within yourself, and there is such a thing as internal conflict. So conflict can be external and internal, right? When you have an internal conflict in yourself, not only do you have the struggles of what it is going on in your head, how you're processing things, how you are feeling and understanding things that, inside of you, it feels like you are tumbling like in a dryer. You're just tumbling, you're like rocks in a dryer. They're spinning and spinning, and it's so chaotic, and you're getting this energy. But the thing is that you need to get those internal struggles out. So I say to you all, please talk to someone, whether you need a life coach like me and Life Coaching Today Network. I mean, you can find a ton of life coaches on there, but I prefer for you to call me. Hit me up if you need to speak to someone. Please go to therapy. And there's a difference between a life coach and a therapist, right? I literally tell people, some people I can't talk to because I'm like, I need you to go see a therapist because it's just more than. And I said, just more than. And that's an extension of going into therapy. And so when these internal conflicts occur, not only does it hurt your body, it hurts your brain. And some of us like to isolate. I'm an isolator. Sometimes I need my quiet time, but I do it in a healthy way. So we need to recharge. And if we can get it out, right? I'm a big believer in releasing the words that are internal to you. They're like imprinting on your body, and you need to get those words out and cleanse yourself and speak them in the air. Um, yeah, it's just heartbreaking to me because now this family has a loss. And this is going on all over the world. So I don't want to make it about this one particular young woman's story, but that light, we're going to keep spotlighting that. And so, that's a heaviness in my spirit. But I want to talk to y'all about creativity, right? And what does that look like? How do you introduce that? Um, since I was no, wait a minute, hold on. Since I was in third grade, I walked into the creative space of life, meaning I became a musician and played music from third grade, I think it was into my high school, nope, sophomore year in college. I played six instruments, I think it is, and walked away from music because of time with children, got into work. I traveled, traveling for work. I was a consultant when I first started my career and walked away from the things that I love in the creative space. So that was music, playing instruments. Then I walked away from singing because I became a real quiet chick. And I kind of dabbled back into it. I went into a gospel choir where we made a recording, a national recording. That was fun, but just walked away. Life came and went and came and went a couple times. And then walked away from even dance. But I'm here to tell you all right now that I am back in the creative space. And you know how I say, like, everything is connected, interconnected. So for some odd reason, I choose hard things in life to do. One, because I like challenges, and two, I think I've lost my mind. So my nemesis in the music world is the cello. When I was all in third grade, I really wanted to play the cello, and they told me I was too tiny to play the cello. So that's why I went to wood instruments. But now, at 48 years of life, I am playing the cello, y'all. I went back. And every time I do this with my bow and I play a note, my soul is transformed. Ballet, I'm back to dance. Not only does my body need it because of my fibromyalgia and the stretching, but it feels amazing. Creatively, it feels amazing. It's clearing my mind, and I want you all to know that you can take space and time to be creative, whether it's writing for 10 minutes, whether it's taking a paintbrush. I jokingly say, my goal in life, if I ever become an artist, is to draw the most perfect straight line ever. I'm still working on it 48 years later. That's the most I'm going to get into drawing. And then singing. I didn't know and understand the importance of my voice until I couldn't use it. And I use my voice on the podcast. I do national trainings. I do in-person trainings. I talk all the time. And I lost my voice because of my thyroid. And I was devastated. And I've had friends say, Karada, when are you going to start singing again? And I'm like, I don't know. Because in my mind, I'm thinking, well, I need to have a performance. I'm not realizing that I need to just do it for the joy of me and the love of me and what's going on. And when you do the things that are joy driven for you, even your body feels something different, right? And I have picked 3 things that are challenging my whole spirit, because to sing effectively, to play an instrument effectively, to dance effectively, one of the things that you have to do is teach your body how to relax. I'm going to do something with me, y'all. Like, we got to lift the shoulders and drop. I do that because guess what? This is where I hold my stress, but this is where I have to do kind of like all of my work. And I am challenged. And remember, I said it's all interconnected because the creativity and the personal and your body are all interconnected. And I discovered, I had an awakening that I'm like, wow, I chose all the things that's going to teach me how to relax, because your girl never relaxes. I don't even understand relaxing. Um, so that is something that I just want you all to know and think about. But yeah, all those creative things are there. We are going to get ready to have our guest, Jennifer Fouché, on, and she's going to talk to us about this wonderful life that she has created for herself, singing, acting, being all the good diva things. And did I tell y'all she is my sister girl? She is one of the girlfriend crew members. And so we're going to run our next segment. And when we come back, Miss Jennifer Fouché will be on with us this morning. On to the next thing.
Welcome to Life Coaching Today Presents, hosted by Kadana Gray.
Good morning, pretty girl. Hey.
Good morning.
Good morning, y'all. I am so excited to see Jennifer's face, y'all. I love her. I love her. I love her. So let me tell you guys. So we have some interesting things in common. So many moons ago, I don't even know how many moons ago it was, but we met through another sister girl in the family of sister girls when Miss Jennifer Fouché, came to Atlanta. And she did a play that was amazing called B-Boy Blues. And I don't know if you all know anything about B-Boy Blues, but we're going to talk about that and we're not going to talk about the controversy. We're going to talk about it, but I'll tell you all about that. But we met and we have fallen in love ever since. And we also share a goddaughter, our god baby. We are god mommies, y'all.
We are.
We are god mommies. We are god mommies. And so welcome to Life Coaching Today Presents with me, Miss Jennifer. Say hi to the crew. Say hi.
Hi, everybody.
Uh-oh, I hear the voice. Is the voice warmed up this morning?
Yes, the voice. I mean, it's as warm as she is before 8 a.m.
See, now here's what's interesting. So you just referred to the voice as she. And yesterday after my cello lesson, I was like, you know what? She needs a name. And he was looking at me like, what? And I was like, listen, her name gonna be Kiki because she kind of really difficult right now. That's Kiki.
I get it.
Kiki the cello over there.
Kiki the cello. Oh my God. I love the cello, by the way.
Are you right?
It is one of my favorite instruments. And it always has been. The cello, the violin, the piano, right? Now, I mean, I love so many of them, but the cello I adore. And I thought it was so fascinating when years ago I found out that the cello is the instrument that is actually the closest to the human voice.
Oh,
and I'm
wow.
fascinated by that. Yeah.
I didn't know that. Well, Jennifer, I want you to tell the audience some tidbits about yourself. I'm not going to tell you a story. I'm going to talk to you about some things in your story. I need you to tell your story because I already told them, when I put it up in the interwebs, I said, that you are a Broadway star, which means I need some tickets. And then we got to talk about if you met my husband, because the world knows that Method Man and I go together. So, so tell us all the things about you, sis. The floor is yours. I love it.
Oh my gosh. Listen, so brevity is not my ministry, but I'm going to try. I started out, from the time I was really 3 and 4 years old, I knew I wanted to sing. So, and I was in college when I actually got my first record deal, and I was in the music industry as a singer-songwriter. I had a song that did well overseas, and I toured over there for a bit, and all of that. Fast forward to some years later when the music industry was no longer compatible with who I was as an artist or a human. And it was more than a bit. It was soul crushing. It got to be soul crushing and very difficult to navigate the way I wanted to. it's, like more than a few industries, unfortunately, it's very ageist. And so there was a pressure constantly with every year that you turn older, that you're
Mm,
feeling some kind of way about the way other people feel about you.
right.
And when I say older, I mean, I was 23
Mm.
and I was referred to as an older artist.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. Yeah.
Oh,
Yeah.
wow.
Let that sink in.
Yeah.
So it was a lot. And as much as I loved it, um, by the time I left, I was 2 seconds from having an eating disorder. It was like
Mm,
it was a lot. And this was with an incredible support system. My mother is my manager. This was just the
mm,
all the other outside influences, yeah, and the pressures of the business. But I realized to save myself, I needed to get out. By that time, I had gotten married. Also, my husband, incredibly perfect and supportive, and
yay to the husbands. Yay
yeah,
to the
perfect,
husbands. Yes
like
to the
literally,
husbands.
yeah, right.
Yes, husband.
And but I'm going to be very honest because you talk about mental health and all of this, and I was so despondent that
Mm,
I didn't know what to do next. I was an artist with no way to do my art, right?
yeah.
Um, and I had studied journalism in undergrad, but that's not what I want to do with my life, right? And so I'd been laboring in this industry for, I don't know, almost a dozen years, right? And my I would set my alarm to wake up, well, not even wake up, to get up and shower and get dressed so that when my husband came home from work, he didn't know that I couldn't get out of bed all day,
Mm,
right?
yeah.
Because it was just that it was
Right.
a lot. And ultimately, um, my road manager said, "Hey, so there's this audition for The Lion King, the touring cast of The Lion King." They were auditioning, and so I went and I auditioned. I didn't know anything about a musical theater audition now, um, at all. So I really chuckle when I think back to like, ooh, the things I did in
Right.
that audition. Just in terms of just basic things like where I was looking, and I sang an entire song as opposed to doing a child. Anyway, the whole thing. My mother, however, I neglected to mention, my mother was an actor and went and was studying acting when I was little. I don't know, 5. I dropped out of nursery school. That's a whole nother segment. But anyway,
Wait.
and
Hold on. Wait. Who drops out of
I dropped
nursery
out of nursery
school?
school. I dropped out of nursery school.
I
It
love
was a
it.
whole I was a whole mood. I actually remember the conversation. We can come back to that. We can go back to that. My mother was very lovely about it. But and so she was going to school at Wayne State University. Lily Tomlin, Jeffrey Tambor, a lot of people that they were classmates, like that's who she went to school with.
Okay.
And so I was on campus with her at a different place because they knew, right, better than the nursery school I had been at. I much appreciated the way they appreciated me. And so I watched my mother get her BFA. I watched her on stage, but it never occurred to me to act. It never occurred to me to act
Mm,
because I've been
okay.
singing since I could talk, right?
Yeah.
And that's always what I wanted to do. I never thought I had the aptitude. I wasn't even in a high school play. So fast forward, I auditioned for The Lion King, all the things. It actually gave me the confidence to audition for the Cincinnati Black Theater Company, which I was living in Cincinnati at the time. Um, and I booked a musical called A Tribute to Motown, where I
Mm,
played Martha Reeves of Martha and the Vandellas, right?
okay. I
And they
love
thought I had so much personality, they expanded my role. So I came home like, you know, and asked my mother, I was
it.
like, oh,
Right.
I reached out to mom and she helped. And my mentor, one of my mentors was an incredible human named Henry Cosby. He was a studio musician and a producer at Motown. And
Okay.
his wife, Auntie Pat, was a secretary there. And my mother said, listen, by that time, unfortunately, Hank Cosby had passed. And she said, well, listen, ask Pat about Martha Reeves. She knew her. And because my mother knew about acting, she
Right.
was teaching me these things that I didn't even know I knew, right? She taught me everything I knew about live performance.
Right.
This is still not brief. Anyway, I guess so.
You're
Point
fine.
is
We want to hear. We want to hear all the tea.
that, I did that performance. Well, I got ready to do that performance. Opening night comes, And when I would rehearse for gigs, my mother would, because from the acting world, she'd give me notes after, which made sense, right? Do this, do that, don't do this, don't do that. You know, when you did this, that was great. When you did this, you need to do that. You know, it was that kind of thing. So opening night, I get on stage, I'm saying this opening monologue, and all of a sudden I feel the way I always feel when I'm singing, right? Like I'm flying.
Mm,
And I remember thinking to
mm,
myself, you know, I could do this. I could do this for a
mm.
living. I could do this as an artist. And so when it was over, I looked at my mother, who's always very honest, never brutal, never harsh, but always honest. Right? Well, maybe sometimes she was harsh, but you
Yep.
know, to other people, I don't know. Anyway, but she was always real, but never soul crushing. You know what I'm saying?
Yep.
And
Mhm.
so I walk up to her and I'm like, okay, how was that? And my mom looked at me and she said, I have no notes.
Mm.
So a few weeks later, I ended up seeing somebody had tickets to go see Cats. Cats gets a bad rap. There are people who just like hate the
I
show
love
Cats, but the
that.
Broadway, I thought it was great. I enjoyed it. I mean, I
Not
guess
the movie, not the
I,
movie Cat.
I
The
didn't. Yeah,
movie
I
was
didn't see the.
traumatic. That was
Yeah,
traumatic
I didn't
from
see the
trauma.
movie, but yeah. And so I saw it. But the thing that I thought was, as I'm watching these people on stage, here's the other thing. I always wanted to go to Broadway ever since I was little. So it was interesting. I always wanted to be in a Broadway show. I just figured I'd be grandfathered in, like, you
Right.
know, like Tony Braxton or somebody. And you sell
Right.
all these records and then you get a role because they do that.
Right.
And so I was like,
They
I
do
figured,
that. They do.
and I watched Cats and I thought, you know, I could do that. Not so much I can do that. No, but this, I could be happy doing that. It was that whole thing. So I made the decision. I was like, you know what? I'm going to go to New York. I'm going to study musical theater. I'm going to do that thing. Told my
Mm.
mother, well, told my husband first, this is what I want to do. He was like, listen, I can work from anywhere. He's in IT, right? He said, doesn't
That's
matter
right.
where we live. But if you want to be on Broadway and Broadway's where you need to be, then we'll go to New York. Like that's, y'all, that's
Ooh.
who I'm married to.
We
And
gotta
so,
we got no, we gotta pause for that. Ladies, we need a man that is just like, go follow your dreams. Follow your dreams, lovely. If your man is like, no, he ain't about that life, you got to go. Shout out to the husband. Shout out to the husband
support
who is
makes
all like that. Support is
it
real.
makes all the difference.
All the
It makes
difference.
all the difference in
Yeah.
the world. And so I told my mother's very old school by way of acting. And she said, listen, you've already studied music and you studied voice. Just go to a straight acting conservatory. Why don't you do that? And I was like, because I
Mhm.
can't get in. Are you insane?
Right.
you know. And she was like, you're my child. You can do anything. So she knew about the American Academy of Dramatic Arts, people like Robert Redford, Danny DeVito, and Adrian Brody, all kinds of people went to the Academy. Incredible
Mhm.
institution. The New York campus, they have two different campuses, one in LA, one in New York. And so I said, well, where else should, I was looking at these other schools and I'm looking at, well, I want maybe NYU and and all these things. And she said, well, where do you really want to go? I said, well, I really want to go to ADA. I really want to go to the Academy. She said, well, just apply to that school. I said, well, what if I don't get in? She said, well, if you don't have any other option, you'll make sure you get in, won't you?
That part.
Um,
Do what you
and
have to do, people. Hustle it up.
listen, and my mother is a firm believer in, I don't believe in a plan B. I don't believe in a fallback, right?
Mm.
If this is what you want to do, then go for this. Because if you have a fallback plan, that's what you'll do. You'll fall back.
Oh
But
wow.
if this is
Okay.
all
That's
you've got,
different. Mm.
if this is what you've got, then you'll make this work. And there's so much to be
Mm.
said for that. So
I like
I
that.
auditioned for ADA. Excuse me. I got in. It's a 2-year, incredibly accelerated, wonderful program. It's 2 years. You audition for the first year, but then you have to be invited back for the second year. So
Well,
it's not
Jennifer,
even a guarantee that you'll graduate. Yeah, you have to be invited. But it has to be unanimous among the core faculty and all of that. It's an incredible experience. First day of class, I'm sitting there, with all these with these people and who are lovely. One, I'm in a building surrounded by people just like me. I never really felt like I fit in the music industry. One, I was the only one who was ever on time, professional, because my mother was an actor, right? So those principles of being on time is late, early is on time and late is unacceptable. Like it's that
how
kind of thing.
old how old were you when you decided, okay, I want to go back to school, right? I want to go back to school and do this journey. How old were you at
34.
that point? You were
34.
34. So that is, I asked that question because you and I both know age, we get to a point, we get to different points, and we're like, okay, I don't know if I can go back to school. I'm too old. I don't know if I can start a singing career because I'm too old. I don't know if I can be a doctor because I'm too old. And what you're telling me is that you're not too old. You're never too old.
Ever,
You can
ever.
start.
My mother showed me that.
Okay.
My mom is so incredible, y'all. Like my mother is a retired state trooper out of Alaska. She was the only Black woman state trooper in Alaska at that time.
Oh, I need to talk.
And yes,
Yes, we need to talk to
yeah.
her.
But she didn't go through the training. She didn't become a state trooper until she was 41.
Wow.
She was 41.
Wow.
Okay.
That's
Um,
amazing. In
yeah,
Alaska? Oh Lord. Wait. Are there any other Black people in Alaska? Like she was like one of
there
five.
are a few now.
Right.
Um, yeah, no, there weren't
Wow.
terribly too many, but there were some. But she
Yeah.
really showed me that there's no expiration date, and my feeling is thankfully, learning from her, I developed this real life philosophy. Is what you're gonna be breathing in and out. And
Mm.
time is going to be passing. No matter what you do, you might
Mm.
as well do what you want to do. And I was just telling my girlfriend last night, I said, the capitalism and a capitalist society will have you thinking that ambition is based on, how that it should be motivated by rather how
Right.
much money you make. Success is based on how much money you make and how far you climb. And what, a real good work ethic is working yourself to death for people
Right.
who absolutely would not do that for you.
Right.
And this whole thing. And I was telling her, I said, you know what? We really have it wrong, especially in the
Mm.
United States or places in Europe and beyond that actually understand this concept, which
Right.
is as humans, and this may sound new agey and hippy dippy to people, but we were actually put here for the same purpose as the rivers and the flowers and the trees. The only reason we have to work is because shit costs money. Oops, sorry.
Right.
Things cost money.
We can
That's
swear
the
here.
only
We
reason.
can swear here. Right.
We're no longer a society where everyone has their own backyard farm, where we grow our own things, where every single person is like that, right? Where we are
Yes.
sort of self-sustaining in a different kind of way that is not attached to capitalism and consumerism, right? And so because of that, we work. But the reality is we are meant to exist,
Right.
to bring joy, to experience joy, to live, to open like flowers. I mean, we really are. So all that working stuff, I mean, it should not be the focus with respect to feeding our soul. And that's why so many people, I think, can be so unhappy. Now, if you're born with a particular gift or artistry, and I believe so many artists are born, right? And you
Yeah.
have that within you, however you decide to use it. If you're born that way, it's a little bit easier, right? 3 years old, I knew I wanted to sing. I knew I could sing, right? I
Mhm.
mean, at least in my 3-year-old mind, as it
That's
turns out,
right.
I was actually right. That was good. Uh, but the reality is that it is easier. But when you have to find it, it can be a little more complex. But we're going to be living and existing. You might as well be happy because we were actually meant to be that. That really is the default setting for humans. And you know what I mean? And obviously there are people who are born into war-torn situations or
Mm.
famine or whatever. And you look around the world and you see people in these horrid situations finding joy. You know
Right.
what I mean? Wherever they can and how they can. And anyway, so I say all of that to say that it's never too late because
Yeah.
as long as you are existing, you have something to offer the world and to offer yourself.
Yeah. I want to
And
pause there
you know,
for a
I,
second.
I
I
just
want to
believe
pause.
that.
Yeah, I
Huh?
want to pause there for a second, because and let people absorb that thought, right? Because the people always talk about the grind, right? The hustle, the grind, especially in the Black community. We are about the hustle life. Like the hustle life is the thing.
Right.
But The other day, it just kind of dawned on me because I love a good definition, and the imagery of things comes to mind. And when I was talking to another sister girl of mine about this idea of grinding, and I came in a mortar and a pestle, and I hope you all know what a mortar and a pestle is. I know that some of y'all ain't seen stuff. It's us old folks. Bowl, pestle, kind of like a little hammer thing, if you want to put it in that space. You put the whole, guess what, you can get whole spices, y'all, not the stuff that's in the bottle.
Right.
And you're grinding it up, and you're grinding it up, and you're grinding it up, and you're going from hard to smooth, right? Here's the thing about that for a human being. If you are grinding, your body is grinding, you are making yourself hard to smooth. And if you add a liquid, you are going to become a paste. That is not strength, people.
Right.
That's not
Yeah.
strength. And so
Yeah.
this idea of hustling and grinding, you are literally chipping your away at your own self. And as you said, like, we are supposed to be in the space of joy and living with this great existence. And we can find examples of joy all across the world where people can sing, people can dance. You know, we all see the images of, okay, please help the African children. And I'm like, okay, but how about we show the African kids playing soccer?
Right.
They don't have to have shoes. They don't
Right.
have to have the PS5. They
Doing
don't.
ballet, like all the
Doing ballet, all
yeah.
these things, right? And I tell the story about, me and sister girl Jackie being in Auschwitz, right? So I told y'all I studied conflict. And so we're in Auschwitz. I swear to y'all, it looked like there was a cloud over Auschwitz itself. We walk up to a chain link fence. And I still have the picture almost 20 years later because of all the despair and the heaviness in that moment. On the other side of the fence was this little tiny flower that was growing in the hard, cold ground. And all I remember thinking was that this was the hope and the joy that people felt in their down moments, right? That one little thing. And when I deal with my coaching clients, I have to tell them and share with them and teach them, like, there is more. There is the extra step. There is the next movement of where you're at. We just got to get there, right? So I love the fact that you went from 23. I thought we were hot girls at 23, but apparently not in the acting industry.
Right.
So apparently that's not a thing.
Right.
We're 23, we're full of life, we are vibrant. And then we come into spaces, and it's not only in acting spaces, it could be a marriage, it can be your own work, it could be in IT. I started my career in IT, and I was like, what in the world am I doing here? This is not giving me joy, but it's giving me the great paycheck. Let's be honest, because we stay in spaces for money, and we are not refilling anything in our spirit. One, because we feel like that is not adulting. Play is not adulting, right? That's what we've been taught. Listen, we need to learn how to play and do fun stuff. And I'm even learning how to do that. Second, we are moving away from who we are to match an image or an ideal of what others have for us. And that's scary. I promise you all, the moment that you absorb the title of your job, you, as who you are, you have lost yourself. I was with a client yesterday, and I said, you know what? You got a homework assignment. She was like, what? I said, you have got to create a word cloud. I love a good word cloud. I think I need to put a word cloud on my wall, and put down all of you. Your phrases. I like to this. I'm a crier. I like to play ball. I like to do all these things, whatever it is. So that way you get back to you. And in 2024, the whole do better, blah, blah, blah. Listen, pick up an instrument, pick up whatever it is. You can carve out time, 30 minutes, 20 minutes, 10 minutes, 5 minutes. You can do it. I promise you can do it. So I promise to talk about B-Boy Blues. And so you all, there is something to be said about, one, I love Black men. I love my brothers, right? I love, love, love my brothers. And if you follow me, y'all go to my post where I talk about we need to treat our brothers a little better. But there is a portion of our community that we don't talk about, and it is about young gay Black men, right? And the lives that they lead. And so B-Boy Blues was a book that was written by, is it James Hardy? Is that
James Earl Hardy.
James Earl Hardy? And I met that brother, fantastic.
He's
And
beautiful.
he wrote, and I'm just going to say, I just got to read this because I feel like I'm not going to do it justice. Hardy's debut novel about the lives of Black gay men in New York City is unabashedly and unapologetically written for African American males. Rough, sexy, humorous, and authentic, B-Boy Blues is a first-rate love story. And I don't care how y'all feel about how folks have sex. Here, we love the humans, okay? That's it. That's it. The human, what God created to be. That's it. Y'all can fight with the Lord. Don't fight with me. So, how y'all feel about some stuff? So, B-Boy Blues, I just want to know, how did you feel? Because that is such a telling story about life. It's a human story. It's like, but then it's also like almost a slap in the face to like the social justice norms that people are not familiar with.
Yeah.
And how did you feel about being a part of something like that, which is just life breaking?
It was really incredible. James reached out to me. He came to see an off-Broadway show I was doing that I just loved. I was with the show for 5 years. I originated the role, was with it from the workshop, called Sisters the Musical. It was streaming on Netflix at one point. It's a beautiful, beautiful story. And he came to see it. He reached out to me by email and told me who he was. The name was familiar. Am a huge Elin Harris fan. God rest his soul. Same
Yes,
genre. And Elin
yes,
Harris introduced me to the expanded world of our LGBTQIA family, right? Like,
yes.
and so James Earl Hardy, the name was familiar. I didn't know why. I didn't realize I'd been seeing his books right on the bestseller list.
Mhm,
And so he reached out. He said, listen, the 20th anniversary of B-Boy Blues, the best-selling book, is I've written a play to commemorate that. I would love for you to sending you these, these sides or whatever. I'd love for you to read for Grace Rivers, who's the mother of one of the lead characters, well, the lead really. And of course, I was like, yeah, okay, that sounds amazing. Yeah, sure, why not? Hoping that it was good, and it was. And I booked the role. James and I became family. The whole cast became family. I met Jacqueline King, how
yes,
that's how, yes, our sister girl,
yes.
truly family. I met her on that gig. But I'll tell you how it felt. One, the role was great. I get to play a mom. Um, and I always love playing a mom because I'm a very maternal person, but I don't have any children. I have cats. And, the children I have are all extension. They're not blood, but, they're my kids. But I get to actually fulfill that wonderful part
Mm,
and side that lives in me when I have children on stage and on screen, right? I love that. But in any case, it felt good to be the mother of a gay young man, to play a mother of a gay young man and to be the mother that accepts him. I have friends, because of course, community I'm in, the work community I'm in, I'm, the LGBT, community
right,
we're all one really, right? And
right.
I have friends who were disowned by their parents, who were thrown
Yeah,
out by their parents,
yep,
who still don't have a good relationship because of who they are, right?
yeah,
And
yeah.
so in this play and in the film, subsequently the B-Boy Blues, the film, I have the opportunity to right a wrong
Mm,
universally, right?
mm.
Is how I feel. I get to, in this world, be that mother who loves her son, who knows he's gay and does not care, who knows when he doesn't know that I know. Yeah.
Yeah.
And that's what's so incredible. And when we would do the show, we've done it in Atlanta, right? Of course, we've done it in DC and in New York and all the things. And without fail, young men, older men come up to me and hug me and they say, I wish Grace Rivers was my mother. I wish I'd had a mother like you. Or they just, can I just have a hug? And it's the way art heals, right?
Yeah.
It's the way that art can bring people together and validate art. And I often say, because there are some Hollywood actors, I won't say names, I could, who have said, we're not curing cancer and blah, blah, blah. Well, as actors, my feeling is one of our jobs is to remind humanity how to be human.
Yes. Oh, I love that. I love
And
that.
because we study about, how to break down walls, how to be naked on stage, sometimes literally. And and we do all the things that people in their everyday lives have walls put up that they can't do. And so and understandably so too. Sometimes, if you're a corrections officer, you don't need to be all vulnerable and have your walls all broken down when you go to work every day, right? So, it's all relative, but that's what art is for. Artists have been on the forefront of revolutionary change, right, since the beginning of time. And so that, I believe, is part of what we do, to be able to show this expansiveness of the understanding of human frailty and all of the empathy and all of the things. So it felt wonderful to do B-Boy Blues. And controversial or not, Jussie Smollett was probably the most incredible film director I've ever had.
So wait. We gotta pause and say this. So it was actually made into a movie, y'all.
It was made into a film.
It was made into a film, and so we were talking about Jussie Smollett, and so here's the thing. I think because it landed when he was in his controversial stage, so it didn't actually get the acclaim that it needed. So I'm telling you all, go find B-Boy Blues, the film, because I'm hoping you guys will go take it back on tour, because it was so fascinating to me in Atlanta. The day that I came to the show, I promise y'all, I was the only, there was like 3 women in the entire theater. And I was like, where? All these brothers out here. And I was like, this is fantastic. I was so excited. But the failure point, which makes me sad, was that because of the controversy, it shifted, and the narrative and the storytelling that needed to be shown and illustrated got caught up in all of that, right? And that foolishness. And so I implore everybody, we got some holiday time, go look for this movie, right? Because it is a whole bop, as the young people say. I'm trying to learn some slang, girl.
Good job, girl. I hear you over there.
I'm trying.
Girl, because I'm terrible. It's a beautifully shot film. It's a beautifully written film, and some lovely faces in it. More than a few people who were in the original stage play, cameos and things, and just so. But working with Jussie was just a beautiful experience, and I have to give one example. He was telling the people, the background actors, we were all getting ready to shoot a scene, and he said, and my background actors, you're not extras, you're actors. You're not extras. I'm not that. Like, I'd never experienced a director, and it's not to say I haven't had wonderful directors on film who've been lovely people, right? But I'd never experienced a director really give that kind of acknowledgement, love, and respect to the background actors, right? Unfortunately, oftentimes they're not treated well. But just more like, it's not always great. But I have to say, in that moment, it told me everything I really needed to know about him. I
Yeah.
hadn't met him. He ran up to me and gave me this big hug. I'm so happy you're here. And in the sequel, there's even more for you to do. Like it was an incredible experience, but he just organized on set, made everyone feel comfortable and wonderful. No, knew how to get work out of people. Just a brilliant. And for this to have been his debut, his directing debut, I was incredibly impressed. Right,
Right.
organized, everything, staying on schedule and just all of the things. So I had an incredible time shooting the film. And it's interesting because I don't have any lines in the film. I have what's called a nonverbal narrative. I'm in several scenes, like but I'm
Okay.
not, because it's really a setup for the sequel, God willing that happens, when I do have lots of lines. But
Right. We're hoping.
regardless, it was a beautiful experience. And it was also very much a watershed moment for me in terms of meeting Jackie, who I've gone on to, work with, collaborate with. I've been in every film that she shot, and she often says I'm the Leonardo DiCaprio to her Scorsese, and it's the biggest compliment. And then throughout that, I've had this beautiful success in the theater, in the theater, because I do theater, film, voiceover, and if anybody like has kids or knows anything about Pinkalicious and Peterific, right? I'm a
Yeah.
recurring character on that cartoon. I'm Dame Stella Nostrella, who is so extra,
Everything.
but I love her. And I shot an episode not too long ago of Fairly Odd Parents.
Wow.
Oh, it's crazy. Yes.
We're doing all the things.
Oh, it's crazy. I can't actually say who I play, but it's ridiculous in the best way. And so I've been fortunate. And then I booked my first Broadway tour in 2018, end of 2017, which was Chicago, the musical, and my
Yes.
bucket list role as Mama Morton. And then in 2021, I made my on-stage Broadway debut in Chicago. I made my Broadway debut 10 days earlier in a play called Chicken and Biscuits. And then I made my on-stage Broadway debut in Chicago. And then I ended up doing like a total of 3 Broadway shows over the course of 6 months. Because then I did a wonderful play called POTUS, right, with Vanessa Williams and Julie White and Leah Delaria and Susan Nakamura, and Julianne Hough, Rachel Dratch. Like, it was wild.
I know that in the world of actors and divas and all of that thing, you're not supposed to say how old you are. But I'm just going to ask you to figure out a way to share with us that, okay, I didn't do this at 23.
No, I didn't. And you know what? I'll say it because, quite frankly, how many casting directors might even really be watching this?
Right,
but even if they are, the reality is that it's very difficult for me to get cast as 40 and 40s on film, right? And theater. And what I mean by that is because when you put me next to somebody who's supposed to be that age, I don't end up looking it, right? Which is good. But I look at, I don't mind. So I'm 52.
Fantastic.
I'm 52. I booked my first.
All right.
Yeah, I booked that Broadway tour at 47. I made my Broadway debut at age 50.
I love it.
Yeah. So, but let me tell you, in reference to what you were saying about that grind, for years I came out of drama school in 2000. I did the 2-year program, 2000, came out 2007. They had a 3rd year that you had to be invited to. It's the school's repertory company. They choose about 10 or 11 women, 10 or 11 men. I was in that. I was in the Academy Company.
Oh, wow.
And I came out of that in 2008. And until the pandemic, until that quarantine hit in 2020, the longest I'd ever been without a job was 9 days.
Oh, wow.
9 days from 2008 to 2020. So you talk about the grind. I enjoyed it and I loved it, but I didn't take vacations. I took care of myself Kind of. And what I mean by that is, like really in terms of self-care as we know it, because I have a husband, even though we did the distance thing for a minute, he was still in Cincinnati and I was in New
Yeah.
York. And that was, fortunately we had been married for, I think like almost 10 years by that point or something crazy. No, we've been
Mhm.
married 5 years by that point, but we had been together for 5 years prior. And it was like a 10-year marriage. So we were good and
Yeah.
solid and it was fine. But it was one of those things where you can't, I shouldn't say you can't. It can be difficult,
Yeah.
especially when you're new as an
Yeah.
actor to try and take breaks because you got to take these gigs when they come. It wasn't until a couple of years ago, maybe even two, like since the pandemic, that I started truly carving out where I used to say, I don't know if I can go to the wedding. I don't know what I'm going to be doing. I don't know if I can go on, I want to go on this cruise or vacation or take a weekend. I don't know what I'll be doing. And I've changed that to telling my agent this past year for my birthday, I said, so I won't be in town
That's
from
right.
blah, 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 to
That's
blah, blah,
right.
blah, blah.
That's
If
right.
Spielberg calls at this point, I don't care because I haven't taken a vacation in 15 years.
Oh, wow.
My husband and I haven't actually taken a vacation. Like, that's crazy. And so the work, and I don't regret any of the work that I did. I'm very happy. But I would do these small things for self-care, which did matter. Time with
Right.
girlfriends, coffee with friends, and
Right.
vegging out and, watching Netflix, doing the things, going to the park, shutting down. And I'm good for cutting my phone off. I will turn
Yeah.
it off.
We need a whole
It's
show about the phone. Right.
I will turn it off. And so, but now I am unapologetic about, yeah, I need these 3 days off, or no, oh, I'm going into this contract. Broadway show. Yeah. I'm unavailable on Christmas Eve and Christmas Day. I'm unavailable on da, 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 and carving out. Now, to be fair, that's easier when you're more established like I am,
Yep.
but
Mhm.
it's never too early to ask. Closed mouths don't get fed.
That's right. That's right. So, I
One
mean,
of my
where's the
other family
where's
and tribe members, Sean Singletary, Chamber 7, as the poet,
right.
as he's known,
Did
is
you,
good
wait,
for
wait, did you
saying
call out? Did you just call out Chamber? That's another crew member. Chamber 7 is one of the
he's
crew members.
got so talented, so talented.
I'm gonna have him on. I'm gonna have
Yeah,
him
you
on
have to, because he was
and
in
put
that
him
movie with
in.
Daniel Radcliffe.
Yes,
Um,
he
yeah,
is. Oh, I love
yeah,
him. I do.
Imperium, and he
Yep.
was so beautiful in that film. And it's hard, y'all. It's hard to even be a mediocre actor. Like I'm not even playing. To me, especially on
No,
film.
no, no,
But it takes a lot of
right.
hard work, and he does a gorgeous performance in that film. But yeah, I've learned to take the time. You have to feed your soul. And the other thing is, if I don't take time to live and be, then
Mhm.
what am I bringing to the work? That's the other
Right.
reason I'm actually happy that I went to drama school at 34. I had all this life to
Yes.
bring to the work. I had
Yeah.
all of this life experience, right, to actually show. And now I work consistently on
Yep.
Broadway, right?
Yep.
I work consistently in general, but voiceover, I booked my first short film where I'm narrating, right?
Mm.
An animated film where I'm narrating. I'm very excited about it. It's very artsy and interesting and dark and things. And I'm so excited to do it. Um, and so it's a very full life. It was a lot of hard work, but I can identify those years that I really did grind. The
Mm.
difference, I think, is that because I was a full adult with a support system and an
Yes.
understanding of what
Yes.
self-care is, and having been in an industry that
Yeah.
was so really dispiriting, and for me, and not everybody,
Right.
because if that's what you want to do and you want to go into the music industry, go into it knowing some things and not letting it crush your soul. But I was 19 when I was 19, 20 years old, 20
That's
years,
the thing. That's the thing about getting older. And I know, like y'all, I really do talk about women, and I have male and female clients. So I want to be clear about that. But there is a different experience for women, because we have a level of responsibilities that are insurmountable. Like they just keep piling up, and we will push ourselves at the bottom of the list all of the time. No matter if you're a stay-at-home mom, if you are a corporate executive, if you're like me, who entrepreneur, like the grind is real. Like I had to teach myself how to sleep. I had to put in my phone at 11:30 every night, and then like 20 minutes beforehand, I have an alarm that goes, "Get your butt to sleep."
Oh, I
Head
need to
that
do that.
way. Yeah,
I
I
stay
have
up way
to.
too late. Some
Yeah,
of
I
it's an
have to.
occupational hazard, to be fair, because if I don't get done with the show and I'm not home until 11 p.m., then I've got to unwind. There's all this adrenaline
Right, there's
coursing through the
all the
body.
things.
But there
You
are
got
times that that's not the case, and I'm
right,
a mess, and I'm
and
up
and
late.
and you need to learn how to treat yourself well, right? I love circles. I don't know why I like circles, but I always say, think about concentric circles. We've got layers to this. You are in the center of the circle. You cannot do anything for anybody else on the circles, on these other circles, until you feed yourself. And I know it's hard because some of us are working 60-hour weeks. Some of us are not paid well, and we're grinding. But I promise you, if you got to sit in your bathtub, bubbles, and just sing, that's what you have to do.
You
Because
you
that's
have
your
to you
love.
have to make time.
If that's what you
Yeah.
love to do, then do that. You don't have to be a superstar. Be a superstar to yourself, right? That is the thing. So we're gonna get ready to wrap, right? But here's the thing. I got two things. Because I know you have to go, and I need to
And I have a rehearsal this
you
morning
have to
where
rehearsal.
I have to be singing and chirping like
Right.
anyway.
A little bit. So I have two things. So the first thing is, and I'm gonna ask you to sing. So I need you to sing something for us. I don't care if it's a holiday. Sing Mariah Carey. I don't know. It's the holiday time. I'm gonna need you to sing because we need to hear your voice. We need to
It's
be
eight
blessed.
o'clock in the morning.
Listen, you better sing something. You better sing some hot girl summer songs or something. I don't know what you better come up with. But then the other thing is, okay, so you were in the Wu-Tang film.
Well,
Shout out
the
to
series Wu
the
Tang and
series.
American Saga.
Okay, the American Saga.
I did not see your husband, your boyfriend. I was not in a scene with, even if we were in the scene, we
Yeah.
didn't film at the same time, but I wasn't in the scene with him. I was, I'm a part of an incredible choir and philanthropic organization called the Broadway Inspirational Voices. And I love this choir. It's incredible. It's incredible, and we do incredible work. We work with Covenant House. Please look up Covenant House and
Yeah.
donate. We
Okay.
work with Ronald McDonald House, homeless teens, homeless young
Wow.
people, those especially who come from abusive backgrounds and all kinds of things. For Covenant House, incredible. But Broadway Inspirational Voices, there were several of us, and we are actual choir members. And so we played the choir in a rehearsal. And so we were just in that scene and we were singing Wade in the Water, I believe, and something else. But so I did not, I am so sorry. I looked for him, to remind him to call you. Couldn't
Thank
find
you.
him. But I just need you to know I was fighting the good fight.
Thank you. I appreciate it because sometimes him and I don't speak for months, but it's all right. It's all good. It's all good. It's all good. So I heard. So can you bless us? Two things, right? One thing. Tell the audience how to find you.
Oh, my website is very easy, www.jenniferfouché.com. So it's just my name, jenniferfouché.com. And yeah, that's the best way,
Do you
really.
have anything upcoming? Do you have anything upcoming? Like you're rehearsing right now. Where are you going to be?
Oh, well, I'm rehearsing right now for something that's called a 29-hour reading. There are things within the industry, and you can look it up. It's on Playbill and all that.
Okay.
It's a brand new musical called Silk, and this is in the developmental stages, right? So you do lots of stuff during the developmental stages. And I was, cast in this. I have a concert in New Orleans that's coming up in February, but I
Okay.
feel like I'm doing things before that. I don't know when. I am shooting the film Destination Wedding, written by Jacqueline King Howell. That's in the
Yes.
spring.
Yes.
And I'm very likely going back into Chicago on Broadway in late January, February, somewhere around in there. I know I have other stuff, and now I can't remember. Yeah, I got some
Okay.
voiceover stuff I'm doing,
But
but
that's
it's like,
right? Go to the website, y'all. Follow her. Show up in New Orleans.
That'd be great.
Show up in places. And I promise you, like, I'm gonna have my sister girl Jacqueline King Howell on here, because Destination Wedding is a whole mood. And I'm gonna tell y'all, like, I've been written into it, but I'm gonna leave that alone.
Clarity.
I'm gonna leave that alone. When it comes out, we're gonna have and you know, I'm just gonna say this. I told her I need to be tapping my toe in a video in a portion of the film. She don't listen, but it's all right. It's all right. We're gonna get there. So it is 8:05. And can you bless us with a tune so we can hear a voice? You don't have to sing a lot. You don't gotta sing. You can sing like Merry Christmas, something, Silent Night, something, because I feel like we need to know all the things and we need to hear your voice. And I'm waiting. I'm gonna need to take a deep breath.
I can't believe that you're asking me to sing at 8:00. I did not warm up to be singing or any of that.
See how
but
people,
because
you see how
I love you. Let's see if we can pull out.
I mean, you don't have to sing a lot. You know you.
I'm not going to.
You know I was gonna ask you to sing. Stop it, girl. You can't come on here with that voice and not bless us. And my dear Yoruba, when she is finished, we are going to wrap. But y'all, I'm gonna give her another minute to take a little deep breath. So if you're watching me on Facebook, give me all the stars. Shout out. Good morning. Thank you for joining us this morning. You know how to find me on Facebook. I'm getting better. You can find me, go Life Coaching Today. You can find me on YouTube. Just Google my name. I'm in the space. Like, my name is Kadada Esmera Gray, and only one. So, but I'm gonna give it to Miss Jennifer Fouché to bless us with a few notes this morning.
Have you spent a merry little Christmas? Let your heart be light. From now on, our troubles will be out of sight.
Ooh,
there you go.
Thank you, my sister girl. Oh no, I know you're not rolling your eyes at me this morning.
I'm like, I can't, but only you could get me to do that this early in the morning.
Thank you.
No,
I appreciate you and I love you. We all need a good Christmas song. But bless you. Thank you, you guys. The honorable, the wonderful Jennifer Fouché.
Thank you for having me. This was amazing, and I adore you, and you're doing that good work, girl. Thank you. Thank you for that.
See you soon. I love you, and y'all.
Love you.
It's Thursday. Let's start the day again, part 2 of the day, and we are going to wrap. Thank you for joining me. Be good today, guys.
You.
Bye. Bye.
Thank you for watching Life Coaching Today Presents, hosted by Kadada Gray and produced by Aruba Saad. Our mission at Life Coaching Today is to empower your health, business, community, and life. Check us out at lifecoachingtoday.com. Everyone here at the True Awesome Network would like to remind you to like, comment, subscribe, and spread awesome.